What's up, everybody? This is going to be a impressions ramble and a bit of fan gushing because we had revealed to us over the weekend a Primarch model, but this isn't just any Primarch. This is the first Primarch. I love that reveal video trailer that they did. Just pretty hilariously awesome how they build them up. And this is a glorious looking model. This is Lionel Johnson, the Lion of the First Legion, the Dark Angels Legion, the first Primarch, which is really cool. This is the Primarch model I've been waiting to see since this series started, to be honest with you. I was curious how they would do certain Primarchs, like Lorgar, what they would do for Ferrus Manus, and I wanted to see their posing for Sanguinus, but really been looking forward to the Dark Angels Primarch for two reasons. Number one, I'm a Dark Angels fan. That's how I got involved in 40k. That's my first and biggest collection of a force, and it's the force I still have. I've done Pre-Heresy Deathwing, but that force I've gotten rid of to just keep the bulk of my collection down. And I had Pre-Heresy Thousand Suns way back in the day, and it was sad to see that go. But given what we have now model-wise, I'm glad I have a fresh slate to start on. I just got to actually finish that test model so I can move on. Anyways, so yes, the force I got involved in 40k with, and my favorite of the forces in that way. And secondly, I'm looking forward to seeing the Primarch model for the Lion is because other Primarchs, we knew what they were going to look like. A good amount of them. Leman Russ, Horus, Sanguinus, Angron, Magnus even. We knew more or less how they're going to look, maybe some changes in the design cues, because the Horus Heresy card game art has been out for a while, and a while before the Horus Heresy series from Forge World and even Black Library. I have to say, and I'm not complaining, this is a good thing, that card game artwork is the foundation basis for everything we've gotten from Forge World, and even all the descriptors of stuff in the Black Library novel series. There have been some changes, for sure, to certain things, but by and large, the vast majority of stuff that existed that wasn't made up brand new has their design cues from a Horus Heresy card game art of similar style, which is good. And there are Primarchs you didn't really have that going on with. Some of them we just didn't have a lot of art, or virtually any, and the Lion was one such thing. So I wanted to see what their final interpretation of the Lion was going to be, because we had some different descriptors during the Black Library novel series, and even some novel art did the Lion differently. So it was nice to see which way they were going in for his design. So with that said, I really like this Primarch model. I've liked all the Primarch models, even some of the ones that just weren't for me. You know, Lorgar is just not a model that I would pick right out of the box amongst their character series for the Primarchs, but he doesn't look bad. It just feels a little staticky, but knowing what I know about Lorgar's fluff and everything, it's a very fitting model. So yeah, it's not bad. It's just not personally for me, because, you know, I'm not a Warbears fan, I guess. If I was, it would be more for me. Magnus, I love his Legion Pre-Heresy. His personal design of his armor that he does have is great, but I just don't like his overall design too much. It's not that I hate it, I just prefer armor as opposed to no armor. Or little armor. But anyways, that all those tangents are leading to the point that all of the Primarch models have looked great. And they really did a good job here as well, I guess is what I'm saying. So the dioramic base he has is very nice. It's actiony as a dioramic base. He's about to kill one of the last, I assume, of the squad of Night Lords right before him. Poor guy. But anyways, the detail is there. It conveys just enough of a story that lets you fill in the blanks. And they do a bit of a tongue-in-cheek thing, saying you can paint them up in any color, even black, and then they wink in Heresy, alluding to the fall of Caliban and the Lion having to fight against his fallen angel brethren. But anyways, the weird part is the scrolls of detail of the Night Lords is already on the Astartes on the base, so you'd have to do some filing down, some sanding down to be sure, which seems a little bit excessive, but theoretically you could. So with that all said, his personal base, I like it. It's not really anything busy. He's on some stone slabs with looks like a broken sensor or something, and that's just enough to allow you to add some extra detail there if you wanted to chip it a little bit more, if you wanted to add some shell casings or a grass tuft or something like that, some type of debris on it, you could. But it's just there to be the platform that the model stands on, and not meant to detract from your attention to him at all, and it works. So he has 2 head options and 2 weapon options. You could have him unhelmeted, which I personally wouldn't do because A, I'm bad at doing faces, and B, the lion's helm, or at least his helmet, his winged helmet that he wears, while looking different from the post-heresy version, is such a big part of his mythos, of his legend, of his lore, that I would want that personally represented myself. But with that said, did a very good job with his unhelmeted head. The facial features, the hair, the facial hair, it was actually all done very well. I was impressed. Sometimes hair looks a bit odd, and you have to kind of put in context why it looks the way it does. Like, Corax's hair isn't bad, it's just you have to understand what's going on with the model. Same thing with Sanguinus. But they did a good job with his hair overall for the lion. With that said, his weapon options are the wolf blade, which is the chainsword looking thing, or the lion sword. Again, the lion sword, I understand the fluff of it, what happens to it, but it's such a big part of the myth surrounding this Primarch and the legend of the lion that and the helmet are the way I would equip the Primarch model personally. Outside of that, this model looks awesome. He has a lot of detail, a lot of very well done detail, and he has ornateness befitting of his station as Primarch, but he's not overly ornate. There's a difference between being very highly detailed and being ornate. Being highly detailed doesn't have to mean there's a lot of stuff going on. It just means the stuff that's there is very well done. Ornateness is having like crazy sculpted detail and or ruins or extra stuff going on everywhere on the armor. The lion is definitely ornate. He's a Primarch. He's the first Primarch. But his ornateness level isn't at the same level as other Primarchs. Not every Primarch is crazily ornate, but Vulcan is definitely more ornate, I would say. Horus is, Sanguinus is, I'd even say Rogel Dorn and the like. And there are others. But that's okay. It's not bad. Ornateness level really is also in part to the fluff that we know of that Primarch. And what we know about the lion, if he was overly ornate, it would be a little odd. It wouldn't be a bad look. It would just be almost like, that seems that odd. At odds with what we know a little bit. But I think his ornateness level matches what we know for the lion. It's not overly ornate. It's just enough, I feel, personally. But his detail is phenomenal. It's definitely very high. It's got gilded bits on his armor everywhere with gold and silvers. He's got the hexagrammaton symbol going on. He's got the cross sword symbol. He's got lion's head motifs. He's got the dark angel symbol. So he's definitely loaded up with symbols, which also works. We know the dark angels do that, and we know that outsiders, those symbols might be weird looking and they don't know what they mean. So it also fits that fluff. But he's not a walking shrine of ornateness, which is definitely very fitting. All of that being the case, the cloak and the tabard robe effect, obviously very dark angely. He embodies, I call them monastic knights. Questing knight is how they describe it on their page with the reveal, and I get it. But he embodies that. The Dark Angels Legion is that kind of visually anyway, and the Primarch embodies that visual for sure very well. So really a well done job. I just can't gush enough, I guess. I'm trying to hold back because it doesn't always make for the best videos to hear somebody just gush about how cool something is, but this is cool. It looks great. I'm really pleased with how they have designed him. He's definitely visually based a lot off of the Primarch novel cover art. the Lionel Johnson novel cover art, you can definitely see a lot of similarities there. But that's a good thing, because that was some of the best art for the Lion that I've seen. So if they had to base off anything, I'm glad it's that. I am looking forward to seeing this model go up for sale. I'm looking forward to see how he goes together, because how it goes together is going to influence a lot of how he's painted up, for sure. This is definitely going to be the first Primarch model I purchase, and I'm going to be vastly intimidated in person trying to paint him up. But having said that, he doesn't feel that intimidating when you look at him. He looks so good, but because he's not overly ornate with very fine details everywhere, it doesn't feel that intimidating, or as intimidating as it could be. Let me be clear. He still looks like a difficult model to paint, and he still looks intimidating for painting, especially if you're not a high-level painter, which I am not. But he doesn't feel as intimidating as he could be. And a big part of that, I feel personally, is the fact that he has robes on. Not that robes are easy to do necessarily, but it covers up detail that might otherwise be very fine ornate detail. And his armor color is black. That works. Having a dark armor color is a bit of a comfort for me personally, because it's easy to clean up that armor and make it look good. It lets you really go to town with his robes, with, if you're doing, other features, with the gold, with all the other colors, lets you really go to town, dry brush, wet blend, whatever, without worrying about staying in the lines too much, because you can just come back very carefully, very patiently, and clean up with black and have it look, and do the black armor the way you want to do it and have it look phenomenal. So it's the best cover-up color to have your armor be. And as a result, it does definitely take some of the sting of intimidation out of wanting to tackle this model, which for me is a good thing, because I definitely want to tackle him, but he's not some crazy colored armor that makes me go, oh man, not only is his armor color going to be tough, but he's got all this detail. It's more so, man, he's got all this detail and all this cloth, but the armor itself is black, so that's not too bad. There's a million ways to do black armor, so some of them are very difficult, some of them are very easy, but still, it doesn't feel as bad as if you're looking at white armor, yellow armor, or bright red armor, or whatever. So that's my thoughts on that in terms of actually building and painting them. Should be fun, but tough. Anyways, definitely looking forward to seeing more of this guy, seeing him up for sale. Definitely going to purchase him. Really pleased with this Primarch model. It's been a long time waiting to see stuff for the Dark Angels, so the fact that we've got to see all the stuff we have, and it kind of culminates in a way with their model, with their Primarch, fantastic. Anyways, feel free to share your thoughts on the reveal for the Lion in the comment section below. I know not everybody's gonna like everything, it's just the way it is, but I think they did personally as good a job as they could have done in showcasing this model, or showcasing the Lion in model form, to try to appeal to the masses, if you will. He's not in some very niche posing that people would be turned off from or whatever. He's not really surprising anybody with his gear, but that's a good thing. So I think this is the best shot this Primarch has for appealing to the most people, even non-Dark Angel fans. But as details go, I think the design team did a great job. Anyways, thanks for letting me gush. I mean, it's my channel, so I did the video, but thanks for tuning in and letting me gush. Of course, share your thoughts in the comment section below. I will be doing other videos, of course, in the future, less gushing, because I don't like just fan gushing on things, but I had to do it. It's a Primarch. You got to do it, especially when it's the Primarch you've been waiting for. So, exception to the rule there. Anyways, until next time, thanks very much for stopping by. Take it easy.